Hello everyone, welcome to Ritually Speaking. I'm very happy to welcome a very special guest today on my podcast. And I met her by chance in my HR journey. And I have seen her growing in the last 2 decades from HR leader to an international leader leading an humanitarian organization, not only in India but Asia and other continents. Please welcome her along with me. Her name is Dr. Farhat Mantoo. Hi Farhat, welcome to Ritually Speaking. How are you doing?
Thank you for inviting me. Very excited to be here, and especially when you call me special. So it puts a lot of pressure that I need to say something which is wise. So let's try today.
No, I'm sure you will be great on this podcast, and I've seen you for a long time. So maybe, Farhat, to start with, I'm very curious to know also, and I would want my viewers also to know about little about you, your journey. You started your journey, your childhood from Kashmir and reaching to Germany for your master's course. How has been that journey, and what really inspired you to take that journey?
Honestly, there was not a plot written. I did not plan things, but I was somebody who always was willing to take the risk, uh, go in the unknown, learn and fail, and also in the journey meet some very beautiful people who have inspired me, both personally as well as professionally. So yes, I come from very humble beginnings. I studied in a co-ed in Kashmir, and then I studied all the way and did my master's there, and then finally decided to go out and work in Delhi without a network. So that's how I started. And from being a journalist to working as a community health worker, and over the years had the honor to lead a very big medical humanitarian organization. Especially building MSF in South Asia has been one of the most beautiful parts of my journey. And today where I stand, I would say it's a lot of getting inspired by people who have taught you that learning is not one-stop thing. It is something that would continue as long as you're there. And that's what I keep as a dictum, as a mantra with me always, that I learn from everybody, and not from somebody who is a PhD, but somebody who could be at the forefront, somebody who may not have a formal education. Wisdom, influence, it is something that is spread around the globe. You just need to have an eye to see it, and that willingness and openness to learn. So that's where I come from.
Sure, Farhat, I can, confidently say that what you're saying is true. I have seen you for a long time, though I've worked very briefly with you, but I think the impression you have left on me is really, really great, I would say. And for my viewers, I think I have some questions which will make them also learn about a leader who actually started the journey from the ground and reached to a level, leading an international organization, but still I can say grounded and humble. So maybe to start with, if I can ask, you said that your journey has been shaped by the experience and the impact of people. So can you tell us a little bit about some moments which build the leader you are today?
Okay, to start with, I've been very fortunate because I've been surrounded by people who have been who had the best degrees, very impressive resumes, and sometimes more brighter, smarter than me. And very early on, I realized that if I had to excel in what I am doing, I need to be surrounded by people who are better than me. And as human nature says, that you want to be the brightest in the room. But I had my first supervisor who, when she worked with me, she taught me one line. And I held on to that line like anything. She would tell me, give people their share of sunshine. Mm-hmm. And I thought, what is big about it? But I realized that the more you give space to others, you will shine. And that's how I built teams from the very beginning. As I told you, very humble beginnings, working as a community health leader, sometimes working with leaders of the community, sometimes working with health workers, sometimes with Anganwadi workers, and some of them would have formal and not formal education or very little knowledge on technical terms. But the way they would mobilize societies, the way they would bring people together, the way they would display their value system was something that I felt always that there was something to learn. Yeah. And as I grew up in my journey, my last role was in a global leadership top management role, and it taught me that I don't need to be the brightest in the room, but I need to be somebody who is actually a very deep listener. Because you will never, no matter what you say, you will never have all the knowledge in you. The wisdom is around you. So what you need to do is you need to ask those critical questions.
Yeah.
And you need to also be sometimes willing to take those decisions that may not be popular,
Right.
but do them with dignity and passion. And that's what I held to. That feminist leadership, I would call. And then don't get me wrong when I talk about feminist leadership. It's not in the narrow sense.
Yeah.
I'm talking about leadership which nurtures care and kindness.
Absolutely.
Kindness towards yourself, allowing yourself to make mistakes, but also being in company of people who are willing to critique you and you're willing to listen to that.
Absolutely.
But also willing to take tough decisions. So that's where I came from, and that's where I'm going to.
Wow, that's so amazing. So, I've kept the title of this podcast is By Proof and Not Paper. So, what does it mean to you personally?
So a paper, a degree, a certificate, that can take you to a room, that can open a door for you. But the proof is the one thing that keeps you in that room.
Right.
So, Ritu, you may have a master's or a bachelor's that can help you apply for a certain role.
Right.
But once you are in there, what sustains you is how are you willing to lead? Right. How are you willing to engage? And that is what I keep central, telling everybody, upskilling yourself is critical. Yeah,
true.
And please do it. And that's what I say. And not only learn from AI, which gives you all the information these days, but use a bit of critical thinking around what you see as information that comes your way.
Yeah.
See what others choose not to see.
Right.
See what others cannot see.
Right.
And these are two different things. And they may sound cliches to you, but they are important. In leadership, you are meant to look at things that others may feel,
right,
but you need to name them. Because until you do not name things, they do not exist. You cannot either benefit from that, you cannot change that, you cannot advocate for that, you cannot resource that.
Right.
So just let me give you an example. I'm sure you know you're an HR specialist, so I'm talking to somebody who's already preached, but around 1975, sexual harassment was a term that was kind of formally termed as sexual harassment. And when that happened, it was not that this reality was not there before that.
Absolutely.
Only when this term was named, organizations, companies started looking at how to address it.
Absolutely.
What is the procedural justice that is needed? How to articulate it? What policies need to be put in place?
Right.
So as a leader, your prime job is to name the unnamed.
True. That's so powerful. No, that's amazing, I would say. Yeah. And Farhat, was there a moment when you realized that experience and execution matter as much as, or even more than qualifications? You said qualification can get you a room, but
Ritu, just before the podcast, I was asking you about the bits of your journey which I don't know, and you spoke about how you grew through the rung.
Yeah,
and it's same for me. I did not land in a boardroom just like that.
Right.
I grew by working hard, making mistakes, acknowledging those mistakes, learning from those mistakes, and also willing to put myself out there.
Right.
And at times, being a woman, it was also that I started kind of copying leaders around me. And sometimes I would call myself a mini man because I would enact like that.
Yeah.
But at some point of time, I realized the power of me, is being authentic. And which means that there would be people who would walk to you and say, oh, this is not leadership. So that's the only thing I would tell you, that leadership is not something that is scripted.
Absolutely.
Your authenticity is what makes you a leader.
True.
Your courage is what makes you a leader. And now your question about growing from the bottom of the rung to the top teaches you a lot more things.
Yeah.
It teaches you how decisions are lost in translation.
True.
It teaches you the language around decision making. It builds a bit more responsibility in how you make your decisions, because the decisions when you make sitting in a boardroom, the influence of that on the frontline worker you're able to see it because you've lived it.
True.
So both play a role, but I would somewhere credit experiential learning from your peers, from the environment you are in.
Right.
I believe that is something nobody can take from you.
That's true. No, that's absolutely true. And when you mentioned about the language get lost in the translation, how much language do you think is critical or important for the leadership?
A lot. So depends how you look at language. Today's language. Talk about, we say, Google it, Uber it, Xerox it.
Yeah.
So these are companies, these are concepts that became phenomena in itself. Absolutely. And their language now.
Yeah.
So when you sit in a room, you need to be mindful of your conversations. Absolutely. Because people do not see what is going on in your mind. Your intentions are expressed through behavior and language.
True.
So for me, both of them play a very critical role. And it's not about using fancy words. It's about keeping it simple.
Absolutely.
So that everybody in the organization understands it. Yeah? And coming back to language, it is important how you conduct yourself in every context.
True.
Like, you're a mother, I'm a mother.
Yes.
Yeah, I should have told in a very first line of my introduction that my identity is that my motherhood is my best learning.
Yes.
And many years back, I was with one of my colleagues. She's an Irish lady.
Okay.
And we were waiting at a signal, and there was nobody. But there was an elderly man and a small child, school-going child, waiting there for the red light to go green to cross. Right. And I was so tempted to cross the road because there were no cars coming on either side. And this Irish lady held my hand. And then the lights turned green and we crossed the road. And I was like, why did you do this? And she told me that you need to be an example. If you would break the rules today, this child would learn that it's okay to do so.
Okay to do so. Wow.
So same way, the choice of your words, you normalize them. If you use them in a manner, your peers learn them.
Yeah.
In the management, that is the unspoken curriculum, the unspoken culture that your language can start. So be mindful of the words, and the choice of words is critical for that.
Absolutely. No, absolutely right. And when you say that this incidence actually is very important for a child to really see by example, if I'm taking you to your childhood, who were the strongest influences in your life growing up?
My mother, to start with, because when I remember what she has allowed me to do in my life, and when I look at my own daughter, I just have more and more admiration for her, that where she came from, the exposure she had around the world, the interactions she had, and she still allowed me to go out and learn and explore the world, be successful but also fail. I just hope that I'm 1/3 of what she is. But it's not only my mother, it's my family, it's my friends. And I have friends, I can tell you, from age 17 to 70.
Wow.
And I love this because you can learn both ways. And I'm a believer of intergenerational learning, that even in a time of AI where you can put 4 words and you can get an entire story, there is a beauty in listening to people who have been there before you, and also the perspective of youngsters.
Very true.
So to keep yourself relevant, to keep yourself kind of meaningful in today's world, it is important that you are not tone deaf to either of the sides.
True. So Farhat, when we talk about the leadership, it's often associated with the titles. I know you mentioned sometime back that titles is very different than the leadership. But how do you define leadership then?
Titles come and go. They're not permanent.
Yeah.
What is permanent is the impact you leave in a certain leadership role. In today's world, we talk about social media. The way we are our mindset is framed in today's world, it's about being visible all the time, always communicating, because algorithms of different social media channels are done in a manner that is seen, the visibility is construed as influence.
Right.
I can tell you, there are many examples around, and I don't need to give you those examples. The most influential people may not be even visible many times. It is their work that speaks for them.
True.
So do not equate visibility with influence.
Right.
And that is important, especially because today's age and time, it feels to all of us, including me, that you need to be perpetually communicating. Be it on LinkedIn, you need to comment on something, you need to like something, you need to write something, you need to have an opinion. It's okay not to have an opinion. It's okay to listen, actively listen, have curiosity, lead with integrity,
right.
And have that influence. Visibility, being in perpetual communication, can kind of, people will remember you, it's good for remembrance.
Yeah.
But it's not sustainable. Impact is sustainable.
Right.
So that's where I would say, for me, leadership is sustainability. Sustainability of what you have built, not only in systems and processes, as humans, human beings around you.
True.
So when I see people who have been part of my journey and they have outgrown me, that is the best legacy I would feel, that, wow, I may have played a very minor role in their journey. This thought in itself is very liberating and very emancipating, that you have been part of journeys of people who have outgrown you, who have had their own trajectories, who have developed into leaders who are much better than you. So that for me is leadership. And leadership is not only leading people, it's leading yourself.
Absolutely.
And do not undermine it. Leading yourself, look, you and me. When I say we are mothers, there are many mothers out there. So we are not the only ones.
Absolutely.
And we have seen our mothers, our aunts, our grandmothers managing homes.
Yeah.
They are leaders, even though the man brings the money. Many times in the past would bring money in the house, but woman would be the one who would do the firefighting, who would know how to spend, who would keep the house
in
at
shape.
peace.
Yeah, absolutely right.
So that is influence for me. You do not need to be always in the forefront to lead. You can lead at the back. As long as you know that your team knows where to go.
Absolutely.
And leadership does not come with a manual.
Absolutely.
There are ingredients everywhere, but there is no perfect thing that would call you that you're a perfect leader.
True.
I am not a believer of that, because I believe imperfect people make the best leaders. So I'm one of those people. I believe in making mistakes, learning from those mistakes.
Right.
Leadership is self-doubt. You doubt yourself more than people doubt you. But leadership is also being brave and courageous.
Absolutely.
Not being risk averse.
Absolutely.
Leading from the top.
No, that's true.
Watching back of your team. That is also leadership. Not abandon your team when things don't go right. So there's a multitude of things that make a leader. But one thing that is not a leader is perfection for me.
Oh, that's so powerful. And when you said the visibility, how important is that? I know when I'm just, recollecting my thoughts, I'm the people who have left impact on my journey or my professional life or my personal life. Interestingly, they you don't call them like a so-called so much presence in the today's social media like place. I don't see them too much on the social media, but yet I have seen their impact on people like me or others around them. It's much more than anybody loud there in the social media, I would say.
True.
No, that's true. But if I ask you, in today's social media age, how much is visibility and a constant communication is critical to be a leader? Though you mentioned a little bit, but
network is very essential for a lot of reasons. As a professional, you need to have a tribe you belong to.
Right.
So, but I have known of people who have huge networks, but they don't know how to nurture their networks. So I would say have meaningful engagements when you are on different social media channels. Ask yourself, what do you bring there?
Right.
And again, we take a lot of pride, and that's very human. We take a lot of pride in celebrating the successes we have. Once in a while, it's also good to talk about that side of you that feels very vulnerable, and show the next generation of leaders that you are here you're still learning.
Yeah.
You've not learned everything.
True.
You're here because you had your share of joys, tears in getting where you're today.
Yeah.
And there's no shortcut
Absolutely.
to experience.
Very true.
There may be shortcuts to information,
Yes.
but converting information into meaningful chunks of knowledge,
Right.
and seeing how that then reflects in how you act on them,
True.
is the key.
No, absolutely true. In fact, I can vouch for that because I myself, after 32 years of experience in the sector, social sector and the corporate sector, I still, when I see a new thing, even in technology, AI or anything for that matter, I'm always curious to learn. And sometimes my colleagues also tell me, like, आप ऐसे कैसे होता है कि आप हर चीज को सीखना चाहते हो, मतलब यू डोंट नीड टू, यू हैव पीपल अराउंड हु कैन डू इट फॉर यू. अच्छा, मैं देखना चाहती हूँ कि मैं वो एक्सपीरियंस पहले लेके जाऊँ सो दैट आई कैन बी कॉन्फिडेंट व्हेन आई एम looking at others. It's, I'm doing the right way. Absolutely true. So you talked about the network is very critical. So what role your network played in your journey?
They have been my sparring partners. Leadership can be sometimes a very lonely journey.
Absolutely.
Because when you're at the top, it happens so that there are moments where you feel like you're alone, because maybe what you're experiencing, nobody else has experienced.
True.
So network helps you normalize on some experiences. They help you keep up to date about what's happening around.
True.
They are your gold mine of knowledge.
Yeah.
They're also helping you open doors that you want.
Yes.
And they're also sometimes your mirrors. They tell you,
yes,
and they show you what you don't want to see.
Yes.
So, Ritu, I believe that as I'm not kind of putting a gender to leadership, but yes, women leaders need to invest more in nurturing their network and leveraging from their network. I've seen many men around me who feel very comfortable referring people, but I've not seen the same trend or habit in women leaders.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to look at how do we nurture, and also how do we help. That camaraderie doesn't naturally come.
Absolutely.
So how do we build those spaces and hold those spaces where you can walk into a room, irrespective of the gender. You're looking at a young leader and you see this person has potential, but just needs a bit of steering in the right path. You just make some referrals. Yeah. Not sitting back and waiting to see this person fail, or figure it out on their own. So yeah, for me, network has been an essential part of my growing as a leader, because you can very easily live in your own bubble, and start believing that that is start and end of it. So you need somebody to prick that bubble for you once in a while.
Absolutely. No, absolutely right. And you talked about the women leadership. So my next question is actually on the women leadership. I would say, what unique strength do you think women bring to the leadership?
With all due respect to all men, and I have a lot of male leaders who I have learned from, and who have taught me, and who have also taught me what not to be. So I can also, I'm very thankful to them, because they have taught me what I don't want to be. But coming back to women leadership, I do believe that by nature of where we come from, we are homemakers. We have, by social ranking, a responsibility of care. We are first caregivers. We have seen our mothers, our aunts, our grandmothers, our friends, many of them who choose not to work. We've seen then how they manage their households and everything. So a lot of flexibility. A lot of emotional intelligence, anticipation skills, women have. So that is the plus. What women do not have by default is that they would question themselves a million times before putting themselves out there. And they are waiting for this perfect opportunity that doesn't exist. You create one for yourself. That means you have to be more vulnerable. Also, you will be scrutinized. And look, leadership is a choice.
Absolutely.
And if you want to make that choice, you should also be willing to accept that this choice comes with some consequences.
True.
It's not your home that everybody would like you.
Absolutely.
So be ready to be not liked.
Yes.
But one thing that woman has that comes innate to her nature is kindness.
Yeah, that's true.
Do not try to copy a man. That's what I would say.
Wow.
There is a power in being a woman, and hold on to that.
No, I totally get it from the space you're coming from. And I remember once the statement you said that, be ready not to be liked. And I remember once I walked into your room when I was working with you, and I was a bit apprehensive of some situation, and you said, it's fine. It's not always, the leaders are meant to be there, and they may not always be liked. So that's all right. Your decision may not always be popular, but sometimes you have to take the decisions. And I truly believe in it after have lived in those spaces now. So I can say that. So on that note, what advice would you give to a young woman who's aspiring to leadership roles?
What advice do I give? That's an interesting one. Okay. As leaders are expected to be not managers. They're expected to be visionaries. They need to have a vision. So I keep on reading here and there. I read about a term called patience premium.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I got very intrigued by this because I was like, that sounds very interesting. What does it mean? So sometimes you may be ahead of the times of seeing and thinking and having a vision. But if you trial it and you fail.
Okay.
So leadership is about that bit of patience premium. Knowing when to act on your vision.
Oh, wow.
So there was this, it's a very famous case study, and I always quote it for myself because I feel that gives you a very beautiful analogy of what vision means at the right time.
Right.
So there was this company that was launched in 1999.
Okay.
The name of the company was Webvan.
Oh.
It was an online grocery company, and they managed to raise around $800 million.
Oh.
And by 2001, it collapsed.
Oh.
And
just 2 years?
Just in 2 years.
Oh, wow.
And you can imagine online grocery in today's world. What are we talking about? A vision that runs the whole world.
Right.
Yeah. And the same idea was picked in 2012 by another company called Instacart, and they were immediately successful.
Oh, wow.
So can we say that Webvan was not successful or did not have a vision? They had the vision, but the infrastructure to implement that vision at that point was not there.
Absolutely.
So what is important for a woman leaders or a young woman who wants to nurture and go in the field of leadership has to ask herself, she may have a vision, but does she have the right architecture to fit it? So that the combination of the vision, the right skill set, and the right timing and the right opportunity. You need to know this, and for that you need to have something called patience premium.
Wow, that's a new term I have learned today, and I would explore it more.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, look for it. It's not something that's new. I read it some time back, and I was fascinated on why is it that some ideas have traction in one era and they don't have traction in another era.
Right.
And in both times, so many a times what happens is like you have a vision of something, and then if you see all the great inventions in the history of mankind, when these visions were there, these people did not enjoy it.
Second, it was enjoyed by the next. Yeah.
So same way,
absolutely.
If you want to be a timely leader, patience is the key.
That's on your vision. Powerful. That's so powerful, I would say, Farhat. And I totally echo with what you're saying. Patience premium is the terminology, but we have heard this many times that patience is sometimes very key and important for your success also, and sometimes maybe for your failures also. How to overcome those failures. Patience is something really teaches you a lot. But that's really powerful. And would you like to share any one or field experience you have had which actually changed your perspective forever?
It's a medical one, but I would like to talk about it. Actually, I was working in East Africa around that time, and when I was working there, so I had my team coming to me, and we were So there were two things in it. So one was a personal lesson, and the other one was also what do people aspire from a leader. I will come back to that one later.
Right.
So what happened was, like, we were working in a region that had a famine going on, and children were malnourished, and we were trying to promote breastfeeding.
Right.
And what we recognized in that part of East Africa, I'm not going to name the country,
Right.
that we were not able to somehow motivate and communicate through our kind of outreach and education for women and encouraging them to breastfeed their children. And when we would come back at the end of the day, we all were very judgmental about these women. And without kind of really knowing why would a mother let her child starve and not feed them. And this was something that was disturbing, but we didn't know how to deal with it. So I ended up going and visiting one of leaders of the community to their place, and I chose to ask for permission to go and meet the woman of the house.
Okay.
And when I sat there, I spoke about a multitude of things, and then I asked her about that everybody has children here, lots of children, and I wonder how a mother can see their children starve and not breastfeed them. And she looked at me, and she could see that I was being very judgmental about it. She was very, I would say, very wise. And that made me feel very small after that, what she told me. She told me that it's not that we as mothers are selfish. Polygamy was practiced in that society. So what she told me was that young women did not want to share her husband. And to do so, they thought that if they would breastfeed their children, their breast would go soggy and they would not be attracted to their husbands. And that was an impediment in that. That was literally inhibiting them to feed their children.
My goodness.
And that minute my entire perspective changed, that it is so easy to be judgmental about people around you and assume things, and also have the wrong strategies in place. So immediately after that, we changed our strategies of not educating women, but educating men.
Wow.
And eventually, I do not know if that completely changed the outlook of the society, but we had more uptake of women willing to breastfeed their children because men would encourage it.
Oh.
So that was a very strong learning for me, that as a leader, you are not supposed to be judging people, but asking questions.
Right.
And keep on asking questions till you understand the problem. And also, if the facts change your strategy. So that was something that I learned out there.
Wow, that's so powerful, I would say. And that also reminded me an incident when I was also working with an organization who's in the name of the organization itself, it was women, and they were working with men a lot. I said, why do we work with men when our organization's name has we work with women? Then their leader actually told me, unless until we will change the mindset of the men, women's life will never be changed. Because that's the irony of the situation, whatever you can say. And that reminds me that particular, saying from him. Okay, having said that, how to protect your own well-being while constantly supporting others?
Being very mindful of your limits. If I go back and I could change one thing in my years of being very busy in leadership, is being busy. Because as a leader, you take more than what you can do. And that's a trap of staying busy.
True.
And I'm very fortunate that I worked with an organization that had a strong emphasis on not only duty of care, but duty to care for yourself and for your staff and your patients, which would mean that being aware of your boundaries of what you can and cannot do, encouraging yourself and others to take break, and normalizing to say, I had a busy day, I'm tired, finding moments to celebrate joys, especially depending on organizations that have high pace of work. It is important to take moments of being together, trying to look into psychoeducation, and normalizing conversations around it, that it is normal to ask for help. So these were some of the things that we integrated as a practice of not for the teams, but for self also. Because if you want others to be comfortable in accepting the things that may be stigmatized, you should be the one who should be starting it. Next to that, I love watching cookery shows and crime patrol. So I'm very well sorted there. So whenever I feel like I'm stressed, I can just go and sit in a market and watch people. I admire how beautiful the creation is. So I watch people, I watch differences of people. So teaches you a lot.
Not wonderful. And I must say that I love watching Crime Patrol as well. So
happy to know that I'm not the only one.
No, my family is really up to me. Why do you always watch Crime Patrol? I said, just like that, I love watching some curiosity, things happening in a different way. Okay, coming back to our topic, and we talked about, papers, certificates, or experience. Many young professionals nowadays feel a lot of pressure to constantly collect certifications. What advice would you give them?
I'm a big fan of people investing in themselves, and I'm glad if people are willing to do it. But ask yourself this critical question: are you doing it to land in the next job, or are you doing it because you believe the skill is going to help your employability?
True.
What I would do as a practice for myself and people who would work with me is something that is called every year finding a moment to look at how incrementally your CV has grown.
Right.
So, and it would always not be a degree or a certificate.
Right.
It would also be the skills that you learn. Look, we are getting into an age of AI. Strategy was a skill 10 years back.
Yeah.
You would invite a consultant who would work for you for 6 months to build a strategy. Today, you give a prompt to AI, you would have strategy in 5 minutes.
Right.
So the question you have to ask yourself is that if you're learning something, how is it going to make you better than the machine?
Right.
Yeah. So that introspection is critical.
Right.
So that's one aspect of upskilling and learning. Yes.
Yeah.
But at the same time, why do you want to do it? Is an important question.
That is an important question.
What is that you are lacking, and how is it going to? Okay. The last but the most important bit when it comes to any formal certification or skills that young leaders kind of go for. Sometimes it's healthy because, like Ritu, your journey is inspired by a lot of experiential learning by doing.
Right.
And sometimes when you enroll for a course, it also helps you see that some assumptions you made, some things you did intuitively, how they speak to different theories, how do they speak to different management policies. So once in a while, yes, it's healthy to kind of upskill yourself.
Yeah.
But ask yourself, do you think that is going to land you into your next job? That is a question you need to look at.
Wow, that's true. No, you're very right. In fact, Farhat, when I was hearing a lot about the coaching, and I was thinking, what do people do differently in coaching? We all in HR do the coaching kind of a thing. But when I actually picked up the journey of coaching in a formal setting, it really taught me how it is different from the usual things you do.
Absolutely.
And it's very, very
the
amazing
structure,
journey.
the technique,
yes.
the concepts.
Yes.
It helps you kind of place some of your learnings that you do because you believe that's how people do it.
Right.
So it also helps build a bit more confidence in your portfolio of learning.
Yes.
So I would encourage people to do it, but be a bit more mindful of why would you do it and at what stage you wish to do it.
Yeah.
Do not hold on certificates because you believe this is going to land you into the next job.
Right.
Do it because they would bring the best for your professional journey and for you personally. And also be more mindful in picking up the degrees, the skills, the certifications you're talking about. We are in an era where our learning would be scrutinized in a manner that has not happened before.
Very true. That's true. And when you say that, we understand the importance of the paper, the certificates, the, knowledge gained by those certifications and the courses, how would you suggest people creating a portfolio of proof instead of a portfolio of paper?
Maybe ask yourself, who is in your network? Who do you want to have in your network?
Okay.
And do you aspire to be a functional leader or do you want to be a generic leader?
Okay.
Because depending on that, you would choose which groups you want to be part of, which networks you want to belong to. And we all have a natural affinity that we gravitate towards things we know.
Right.
So go into things that are unknown to you.
Okay.
Another important thing which I learned in my journey was that it's also healthy to go outside your sector.
Yes.
So you come from the social sector.
Yes.
It is important to learn how corporate functions, how companies operate, how, like say, HR as an expertise. How is it done in a startup to being in a company that has 10,000 employees?
Right.
For you to know where you are in your skill set on the spectrum, where do you stand? So that would be one. I would say that scrutinize your networks, explore networks that are beyond your own core expertise, your own sector.
Right.
The other one I would say is that try to be more not behind the screen.
Right.
Invest time in reading.
Okay.
Reading about anything and everything.
Right.
I would say, but invest. And that doesn't necessarily mean a degree.
That's true.
Yeah, invest in what's happening around you, and don't be. I used to. I use a term at my workplace. I tell my colleagues who are the brightest and the smartest and the most hardworking, they're so busy that they work like a busy bee while the opportunities flow over their heads.
Yeah.
So don't be a busy bee. So also try to find moments to raise your head to see what is around you.
True.
Because the best opportunity may just have stepped over you.
Yeah.
So that would be another one I would say, that don't be too engrossed into your piece of work. Also take interest beyond your expertise. So go and learn.
Yes.
You are the best staff person or HR person or a people development person when you understand the core business of the company.
Yeah.
So be closer to the core business. Try to understand, because if you are able to anticipate the needs, you're better in what you do.
That's
so see everything that this ecosystem is meant to bring the best out of you.
That's true. No, that also tells me that maybe testing your skills and expertise, as you mentioned, in the different settings, like you said, maybe in the startup or in the organization with 2,000, 3,000 or 10,000 employees. So if you are doing great or good in both the sectors, that means you have actually mastered the skills. So this is some way maybe you can.
Or also you learn what you don't want to do.
Yeah, that's true.
I at the very beginning I told you that there was no script written. I did not plan where I am today.
Yeah.
But I am thankful to every opportunity of success and failure that makes me sit here today with you.
Yes.
Because I believe that those made me who I am.
True.
And I don't want to be anywhere else.
That's so beautiful. And maybe, we are coming towards the end of the podcast, and I have a few questions which is more personal to you. What book, quote, or life principle do you often return to?
Life is beautiful. It's worth living.
Yes.
Yeah, you can mess up. There could be good and bad days. There will be good and bad days.
Yeah.
But nothing is permanent. So the workplace issue that kept you awake for night.
Yes.
When you leave the job, neither you would remember it, nor the workplace would remember it. So do not lose your sleep on anything. Not worth it. Be present in the moment.
That's true.
So we can very easily drift these days. So
yes.
Small things. Look, I am a pragmatic person. I have learned by doing.
Yes.
I just want people to know that you don't need to be perfect. You can have self-doubts. That doesn't stop you from being and leading. That's important.
Great. Thank you, Farhat. And, when I'm asking you this question, I was just thinking myself, what is the one thing I really go back to or return to? And there's one statement.
Yes.
Whatever happens is for good only. And that's my life mantra. Whenever something is falling or नहीं ठीक जा रहा है, तो मुझे लगता है इसमें भी कुछ अच्छा होगा. I'm sure there must be something good happening which you still not able to see it, but it will come.
Yeah. Like you talk about something that organizations cherish. That's the mindset.
Yeah.
You have a mindset of somebody who sees hope and opportunity in everything that happens and comes your way. It's a beautiful mindset. I would say nurture it, keep it.
Thank you. And when I say that your leadership journey is written about years from now, what would you want the title to be?
There are a billion leaders in this world, so I would term it something maybe imperfectly human.
Oh wow!
Because the people I learned from, the leaders I learned from, they were not flawless.
Yeah.
But they were honest. They were honest about their flaws.
Right.
They made mistakes, but they would correct their mistakes. They would own their mistakes. So I'm also one of those imperfectly humans that you would see, and I'm not flawless. And I hope anyone who's watching this podcast, if you have self-doubt, that is one of the key core elements of leadership. So I would say that you should be here. That is what is important. If you have self-doubt, if you are able to critique yourself, if you are able to take decisions that are necessary, but take them with compassion and kindness, this chair is for you. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Farhat. It was lovely talking to you. And I'm sure this will stay long with me, the conversation. And I'm sure viewers will also love this conversation and have a lot of learning from the experience you have shared. And they will be able to, find some cues for them for making their journey more on the proofs, not only on the papers. And but thank you so much for coming. And
Thank you. Thank
you
you
have
for
already
inviting me.
shared something for viewers, but anything you would like to share, anything more you want my viewers to really know about you, or anything which can impact their journey?
First of all, thank you for creating this space because we also want to celebrate our day-to-day lives.
Yes.
And not everybody would be a president, a CEO, or a CFO. So we also want to celebrate our being,
Yes.
our ordinariness that we are.
Yes.
So you create the space. So thank you for that. So I would say, so I would invite more youngsters to be the mentors of the generations
Yes.
before you.
Yes.
And I would also invite us and the ones before us to mentor youngsters, because I believe that when you share knowledge,
Yes.
you only learn. And
Yeah.
today I learned a lot about myself, that I don't know many more answers. And thank you for helping me see through things, and also set me on the trajectory to learn more. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Farhat. And thank you everyone for watching Ritually Speaking. And I held my promise. I will keep getting my mentors on this space more often. And this was my second podcast with my another mentor. And I'm hope that this journey inspires you and take you a long way. Thank you so much.
Thank you.